talk to a chemistry teacher from Indiana, and we'll do some experiments. Stick around.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Time to learn some good stuff. Let me turn my news off. We all gotta watch the news. Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about asking and answering questions, which is really important because, as you know, I don't know why we struggle with that so much. So now we are having to make sure we're over there making sure that we understand what it is. First, what is it? So it is a skill that's used and is very important because being able to answer and ask questions, especially when you're learning, is very important. Asking questions help you to motivate your curiosity to find out what the story is about. So I have a couple computer screens here. I'm monitoring your work because you all have The Elephant and the Crocodile, which is a fable that you should be reading while I'm videoing this. I will be going over that as well. But first, let's go over asking and answering questions. So the reason why you want to ask and answer questions is for a couple reasons. It makes sure that it helps you for several reasons. It helps you, one, I'm very big on comprehension and why you should be comprehending your work. So when we ask and answer questions, let me move my chair to my little, this is my whiteboard. Asking and answering questions. So what should you do? So there's a ton of ways that you all can ask and answer questions. One important way is to know and ask before you read. Okay. And if you can't see me, it's okay. I'm still the queen. I left my crown at school, so I've had me a crown. I need to make me one. Yes, Gavin, I still have my crown. Okay, so before you read, sometimes if you've heard of a KWL chart, those are good as well. Oh, it's coming up backwards. Go figure. I'll fix it later. But before you read, or what do you want to know? So I'm going to teach you two ways. I'm going to teach you before, during, and after. And I'm also going to probably show you the KWL chart. What do you want to know? What do you know? And what did you learn? So all those are good ways of helping you ask and answer questions. And in the comment section, while I'm doing this, I want you guys to talk about what you've been doing at home to help yourself stay smart. Because sometimes it is very easy to stay at home and get kind of where you don't, read and you're playing games. And, it's important to try to do a little something. I'm going to show you guys what I've been doing. Not so much to stay smart, probably to stay busy. But I've been doing a couple things to stay smart. All right. So before you read, and again, we're going to practice this when we go over the crocodile and we go over our fable, The Elephant and the Crocodile. So while you're doing asking and answering questions, again, this is very important so that you can make sure that you are actually, comprehending the text, and so that you prepare yourself to comprehend the text. So in a new text, you want to you want to preview the text. What does that mean? Look over it. So you want to preview the text. So say, for example, you are actually reading a nonfiction book. Oh, we can talk about a fable. We're talking about our fable. You look at that fable. If it's an actual book, you want to look at the cover. You want to look at you want to make sure you look at the pictures if it has pictures. You want to make sure you look at anything in the book that kind of give you an idea of what. So preview the book. Look over the front cover, the back cover. Look at the authors. Look at everything in the book to help you preview the book. Kind of like, getting to see if you're going to like it. Sometimes we probably don't like what we read or a book, but that's something. So, second thing. Give me some different color markers. Second thing, you want to ask yourself, when I look at it, when you look at it, it being, I don't want to say it, let's say the book. You know, I can't stand it. When you look at the book, one, what do you notice? Okay, what are you noticing about the book? Second thing, what do you want? What do you think about the book? Also, what do you wonder about the book? Okay, what do you wonder about the book? I wonder if the elephant is going to have fun. I wonder. And then you want to kind of think, if you're reading it, so during the reading, you want to know what has happened so far. Actually, we'll go over doing a reading tomorrow. Let's stick with that right now, just so we can kind of understand that. So let me fix this so you can actually read it. I'll show you later. So I'll just go over it right now. Preview the text. When you preview the text, after you look at it, preview, prefix means before the text. When I look at the book, I notice, I think, and I wonder. Again, I'll show you that in a second correctly. I don't know why it's that. So let's move on to the elephant. I gotta fix this chair. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that's tight. But anyway, you want to let's look at the elephant in the text. Let's actually read it. Let's see if you can actually hear it.
H. Berkeley score.
There we go.
In this fable, a
That's
crocodile and an elephant argue about which is the better animal. A lion proposes a challenge to help them answer this question. As you read, take notes on the crocodile and the elephant's abilities. An elephant and a crocodile were once standing beside a river. They were disputing as to which was the better animal. Look at my strength, said the elephant. I can tear up a tree, roots and all, with my trunk. Ah, but quantity is not quality, and your skin is not nearly so tough as mine, replied the crocodile, for neither spear, arrow, nor sword can pierce it. Just as they were coming to blows, a lion happened to pass. Heyday, sirs.
Let's stop right there, because that's your first question. I know that you all are following along, so you can see that. It says, just as they were blowing, a lion happened to pass. So first of all, you want to ask yourself, using the concept of asking and answering questions. We kind of look, it's just a page on, so we want to kind of look at it and say, what is it about? I know you all are smart. You see two animals in the title. You're looking at the title, the elephant and the crocodile, okay? You already know that most stories that talk about animals are fables. You know, at the end of a fable, it has a moral, okay? So the first question, it says, in the first question, it says, the crocodile and the elephant. What's going on with the crocodile and the elephant? We previewed the text. When you looked at the book, we noticed that it was a fable because it talked about the crocodile and the elephant. They're sitting there arguing about, I guess, who's stronger and who has better abilities. Abilities mean who can actually do something, maybe better or something, your ability. Some people in the classroom have the ability to sing. I know some people have the ability to draw. Some people have better abilities. Not saying that everybody can't draw. Somebody's ability is just better. That comes with practice. But anyway, what did you notice? Okay, so you notice that the setting may have been outside in the woods. You notice that there's two animals. You notice that maybe they're going back and forth about some type of competition. Now, I wonder why they're arguing. What difference does it make that one could, is stronger than the other? So that's the type of things that you'll understand as you go on. So now let's look at it. We also looked at number 1. Okay, our first guided reading question. What are they arguing? What are the elephant and the crocodile doing? If you look at your answers, it's very simple. You see that they're not helping each other cross the river. They are enjoying each other's company, but they're a little bit more aggressive with the company. And are they talking about other animals? So with those, you can also have the process of elimination and go ahead and figure out what they're talking about. All right, let's move on.
Heyday, sirs, said His Majesty, going up to them. Let me know the cause of your quarrel. Will you kindly tell us which is the better animal? Cried both. Heyday, sirs, said His Majesty, going up to them. Let me know the cause of your quarrel. Will you kindly tell us which is the better animal? Cried both at once.
I'm going to stop there. They said quarrel. If you're going back and forth and you're quarreling, what are you doing? Somebody put in the comments, somebody type it on Google Classroom, somebody let me know what it is to quarrel, okay? So I forgot to tell you all about our competition. I'll stop here real quick. So our competition, I told you guys I'm gonna have great giveaways, and as I promised, I'm gonna keep my promise. So I'm going to be taking a tally of everybody who can answer my questions. So throughout my videos, I'm going to have a question. It can be any video. Some of these videos are just going to be cool, let's hang out type videos. I miss you guys, let's talk videos. First question. And at the end of the week, I'll see who answered the most questions, and those will be the people that actually win a gift. I don't know. I can probably drop it off at your house, throw it in the yard. We're not supposed to be coming close to each other. But anyway, first competition question is, what is a quarrel? You can look it up. You can ask a parent. You can look on the phone. I don't care how you get the answer. But when you put the answer in there, these are the criteria. It must be in a complete sentence. I must see capitalization and periods. Okay? If you don't do those, it's just wrong. I'm not going to consider your question right. Let me give you an example. So if you put in there, it is blank. I almost gave you the answer. If you say it is blank, I will not be giving you a question because 1, we don't begin sentences with it. 2, you have to restate the question. A quarrel is the or a needs to be capitalized, and I need to see some type of punctuation. And you can also 2 points. Let's put in 2 points. If you have according to. Yes. If you have according to, I'll give you 2 points. So yeah, you can get 1 point for answering the questions, or 2 points according to, or in the text, or according to Google, or according to my grandma. I don't care what you say, but if you say according to, and you can reference that text, 2 points. Yeah. Okay, back to this. So let's see what's going on with this elephant and the crocodile. We went over question number 1. Let's listen to it.
Certainly, said the lion. Do you see that soldier's steel helmet on yonder wall? Pointing at the same time across the river. Yes, replied the beasts. Well, then, continued the lion, go and fetch it, and bring it to me, and I shall be able then to decide between you. Well, then, continued the lion, go and fetch it, and bring it to me, and I shall be able then to decide between you.
Question number 2. Go fetch it, and we should be able to bring it towards you. So, of course, there's only 3 questions. Parents, I told you I'm not going to overload the kids. This reads it to them, so there's no reason why no one is completing this. I don't understand. So you will be getting calls from me if students are not completing work. Sidebar. All right, here we go. How is the lion testing who is the better animal? How is the lion testing who is the better animal? So don't just go for what you think. Again, it's reading it to you, so you should be able to go back into the text. By who is able to retrieve the object, by who reaches a special object first, by who can find the most valuable prize, by who is brave enough. That's a good question. I'm not going to give you the answer, but that's the second answer. Here we go. Let's move on.
Upon hearing this, off they started. The crocodile, being used to the water, reached the opposite bank of the river first, and was not long in standing beside the wall. Here he waited till the elephant came up. The latter, seeing at a glance how matters stood, extended his long trunk, and reached the helmet quite easily. They then made their way together back again across the river. The elephant, anxious to keep up with the crocodile in the water, forgot that he was carrying the helmet on his back, and a sudden lurch caused the prize to slip off and sink to the bottom. The crocodile noticed the accident, so down he dived, and brought it up in his capacious mouth. They then returned, and the crocodile laid the helmet at the lion's feet. His Majesty took up the helmet, and addressing the elephant, said, "You, on account of your size and trunk, were able to reach the prize on the wall, but, having lost it, you were unable to recover it. And you," said the lion, turning to the crocodile, "although unable to reach the helmet, were able to dive for it and save it. You are both wise and clever in your respective ways. Neither is better than the other."
Nobody is better. You're both equal. Some people are better at certain things, and some people are not. But if we all come together, we all can be good in our own perspective ways. Wow, what a wonderful story. So make sure you all answer those 3 questions. If you have any questions about that, you know I'm always in the comments. And you can also comment on here, I believe. I'll make sure of that. So make sure you do that. I will be reaching out to parents to make sure that we have all of these complete. And let's see what we have. I'm actually dojoing your parents now. Parents, thank you all for reaching out to me. I told you all I have a little something special for you too. So make sure that you too are able to comment and text, hit me on Dojo and let me know that you are actually reading my messages, even though I can see how many parents. But some of the parents that I have not been able to contact, I need you all to just say, "Hey, I'm here," or "We see it," or "Good morning," or "We safe." I talked to a couple parents yesterday, and I know some parents are still working. So if your kids are at daycare and they're having a problem, let me know, because I understand resources and I understand. So just let me know that, hey, you know what, our accessibility is not what it is. So that way I won't be marking them, giving people Fs just because that's not your fault. So I just want to make sure we're fair in grading. For the other parents that talk to me, thank you all for letting me know, especially some of these students that are just rushing through. I can see. So students, make sure you're looking at your comments, because I am commenting on your work. And I am resetting those who start off with it, because in some of your answers that don't make sense. Thank those students who went back and fixed those. I really enjoy reading those good answers that I know you can do. All right, so let's switch over to Charlotte's Web. Promised I wasn't gonna keep you here all day. Oh, give me 1 second. Yes, let's see what's going on with Fern. Chapters 3 and 4. So far we talked about Fern saving Wilbur. Yes, Mr. Arable is going to make sure he did not have to. Then he got too much. It got too overbearing for Mr. Arable. He said, "Fern, it's time to sell Wilbur." Wilbur was sold to Uncle Homer down the street, which was wonderful because Fern still can go down there and visit. So let's see what's happening. Chapter 3. The barn was very large. It was very old. It smelled of hay and it smelled of manure. I think we remember what manure is. It smelled of perspiration of tired horses and the wonderful sweet breath of patient cows. It often had a sort of peaceful smell, as though nothing bad could ever have happened in the world. It smelled of grain and of a harness dressing and of axle grease and of rubber boots of new rope. And whenever the cat was given a fresh fish head to eat, the barn would smell of fish. But mostly it smelled of hay, for there was always hay in the great loft up overhead. And there was always hay being pitched down to the cows and the horses and the sheep. The barn was plenty warm in the winter, when the animals spent most of their time indoors, and it was pleasant, cool in the summer. And when big doors stood wide open to the breeze, the barn had stalls on the main floor. for the workhorses tied up on the main floor, for the cows and a sheepfold down below, for the sheep a pig pen down below for Wilbur. And it was full of sorts of things you can find in barns: ladders, grindstones, pitchforks, monkey wrenches, scythes, lawnmowers, snow shovel, axe handles, milk pails, water buckets, empty grain sacks, and rusty rat traps. It was the kind of barn that swallows like a build their nest in, swallows or birds. It was the kind of barn that children like to play in, and the whole thing that was owned by Fern's uncle, Mr. Homer L. Zuckerman. Wilbur's new home was the lower part of the barn, directly underneath the cows. Mr. Zuckerman knew that the manure pile is a good place to keep a young pig. Pigs need warmth, and it was warm and comfortable down there in the barn cellar. Everybody should know the cellar is kind of like the basement. On the south side, Fern came almost every single day to visit him. She found an old milking stool that had been discarded, and she placed the stool in a sheepfold next to Wilbur's pen. Here she sat quietly during the long afternoons, thinking and listening and watching Wilbur. The sheep soon got to know her and trusted her. So do you think these geese who live with the sheep and the animals trusted her? She was so quiet and friendly, Mr. Zuckerman did not allow her to take Wilbur out, and he did not allow her to climb in the pig pen. But he told Fern that she could sit on the stool and watch Wilbur as long as she wanted to. It would make her happy just to hear the pig, and it made Wilbur happy to know she was sitting right there, right outside the pen. But he never had any fun, no walks, no rides, and no swims. I'm gonna stop there. Let's ask a question. So remember, we are asking and answering questions. That's our skill for the week. Let's see. Of course, we all know the book, or we know the beginning of the book. So my question is Fern gonna do this for the rest of her life? Just go down there and look at Wilbur sitting there? I have another question. Did Wilbur really like it there? Because like he said, he can't go on any rides. He can't, no walks with Fern. He can't go walk her to the bus. I mean, is this really a happy place for a pig? So these are questions that we should be asking ourselves. In the comments below, make sure you put down what you think about that. Here we go. One afternoon in June, Wilbur was almost 2 months old. He wandered out into the small yard outside the barn. Fern had not arrived for her usual visit. Wilbur stood in the sun, feeling lonely and bored. There's never anything to do around here, he thought. A pig thinking? Somebody can tell me what that is. Personification, just in case you forgot. He walked slowly to his food trough and sniffed to see if anything had been overlooked at lunch. He found a small strip of potato skin and ate it. His back itched, so he leaned against the fence and rubbed against the boards. When he tired of this, he walked indoors, climbed on top of the manure pile, and sat down. He didn't feel like going to sleep. He didn't feel like digging. He was tired of standing still. He was tired of laying down. I'm less than 2 months old, and I'm tired of living, he said. Oh my goodness, tired of living. He walked out to the yard again. Out there, he stood. He said, there's no place to go in. When I'm indoors, there's no place out in the yard. That's where you're wrong, my friend. My friend, said a voice. Wilbur looked through the fence and saw a goose standing there. You don't have to stay in that dirty, dirty, dirty yard, said the goose. He talked rather fast. One of the boards is loose. Push on it. Push, push, push on it and come out. What? Said Wilbur. Say it slower. At the risk of repeating myself, said the goose, I suggest you come out. It's wonderful out here. Did you say the board was loose? That I did. That I did, said the goose. Wilbur walked up to the fence and saw that the goose was right. One board was loose. He put his head down, shut his eyes, and pushed the board, and it gave way. In a minute, he had squeezed through the fence and was standing in the long grass outside the yard. The goose chuckled. How does it feel to be free? He asked. I like it, said Wilbur. That it is, I guess. I like it. Actually, Wilbur felt queer to be outside his fence, with nothing between him and the world. Where do you think I'd better go? Anywhere you like, said the goose. Go down to the orchard, root up some sod. Go down to the garden, dig up some radishes. Root up everything. Eat grass, look for corn. Look. Look for oats. Roll over, skip, dance, jump, prance. Go down through the orchard, stroll in the woods. The world is a wonderful place when you're young. I can see that, replied Wilbur. He gave a jump in the air, twirled, ran a few steps, stopped, looked, sniffed around, and smelled the afternoon. And then he walked through the orchard, pausing. The shade of the apple trees. He put a strong snout into the ground and began to dig, and root. He felt happy. He had plowed up quite a piece of ground before anyone had noticed him. Mrs. Zuckerman was the first to see him. She saw him from the kitchen window, and she immediately shouted for the men. Homer, she cried. Pigs out! Lurvy, pigs out! Homer, Lurvy, pigs out! He's down there under the apple tree. Now the trouble starts, thought Wilbur. Now I'll catch it. The goose heard the racket, and she too started to holler, run downhill, make for the woods. She shouted to Wilbur, they'll never catch you in the woods. The Cocker Spaniel heard the commotion. The Cocker Spaniel is a dog. And he ran out from the barn and to join the chase. Mrs. Zuckerman heard and came out of the machine shed where he had been mending tools. Lurvy, the hired man, heard the noise and came up from the asparagus patch where he was pulling weeds. Everybody walked towards Wilbur, and Wilbur didn't know what to do. The woods seemed a long way off and away, and he never had been down there in the woods and wasn't for sure what it was like. Get around him, Lurvy, said Mr. Zuckerman, and drove him to the barn. And take it easy. Don't rush him. I'll go and get a bucket of slop. The news of Wilbur's escape spread rapidly among the animals in the place. Whenever any creature broke out loose on the Zuckerman's farm, the event was a great interest to others. The goose shouted to the nearest cow and that Wilbur was free. Soon the cow knew. And then one of the cows told the sheep, and the sheep knew. The lambs learned about it from their mothers. The horses in the stalls and the barns pricked up their ears and heard the goose hollering, and soon the horses caught on to what was happening. Wilbur's out, they said. Every animal stirred and lifted his head and became excited to know that one of their friends had gotten free, no longer pinned up or tied fast. Wilbur didn't know what to do or which way to run. It seemed as though everybody was